Hey everyone, welcome back to Williamson Ridge Outdoors. Today we are standing at the back of the truck once again because I have another new product, or pretty new actually, on the market. This has just come out, I believe a couple months ago. I've actually had this for probably a couple months, but the weather and my schedule just has not worked out to where that I could get this video made and get it out there. So this is a good break in the weather right now. We are pushing 60 degrees today, and everything is dried up enough to be able to get out and do a few things. So I figured this would be the perfect opportunity to be able to show you what we got. So this is the new dual battery Milwaukee M18 fuel 20-inch brushless battery chainsaw. So what makes this saw, kind of special and kind of new? One, it takes two 18-volt Milwaukee batteries, and it's compared to a 70cc gas chainsaw. Now, 70cc gas chainsaw that's a pretty big saw. I mean, yes, they make bigger ones, and they make way smaller ones, and it puts this one right in the middle of the pack. But for the regular homeowner and stuff, a 70cc saw is all you would ever need, and probably more than you would ever need, unless you were just, commercial or a logger, and was doing that as a profession and dropping really big trees. Would you ever need bigger than a 70cc saw? So with that in mind, this saw should be capable of cutting about anything that a farm and ranch type person would need. And with 70cc comparison in the power, it really should cut through some serious wood. So I got this saw in a kit, and so it comes with a dual charger, and it came with both the batteries, and the batteries are the new red lithium forged batteries, and the batteries actually have vents in them. So I'm real interested in seeing how this saw actually will perform with that technology, because in the past, other brands of chainsaws that are advertised as commercial saws even, they still have a lot of problem with overheating. And I'm wondering if Milwaukee maybe has a handle on the problem with battery chainsaws overheating with this new battery technology that they have. So the saw body itself is actually pretty large. This thing, it's really probably comparable to the size of a 70cc gas saw. I mean, this thing's pretty wide. It's got nice big metal bucking spikes on it. Looks like there might be actually some vents up in here. I'm gonna go ahead and pull the chain guard or the chain clamp off of here. Ooh, I do like this. It's got captured nuts on it. It's got your dual post here, chain adjusters here on the front, your oiler up here on the top. A nice metal guard right here. Let's go ahead and put the bar and the chain on here and see what it looks like. It does come with an Oregon chain. All right, so it did come with the tool also. So you got the scrunch, it's got the nut size, got the screwdriver on there. And I do like the fact that it does store in the saw. So you can just slide it down in the hole here and then snap it into place. So here's the batteries. This is the red lithium forge, and these are the 8 amp hour. So here in the bottom, there's vents. Here in the sides, there's vent holes. And even up here in the top of this battery, there are vent holes. These holes and stuff up here and down here, there's vents all around this. And it matches up with the vents on there. So I'm thinking that they might be going to be blowing air through these batteries. So now, as you can see, this thing is not a small footprint. These batteries on here on the top are real wide, but nothing sticks out past, your handles or anything. So it is within, the size of the saw, but these batteries definitely are out there more than any other saw that I've seen. Most of them fit within, the saw body itself, and they're not kind of strapped on out here on the sides like this. But in comparison to, the saw body, it's pretty much the outside edge right here. Your battery kind of lines up, and then the motor, your other battery, pretty much lines up with that. So it's not so much outside the size of the body of the saw, but most saws tend to slim down as it comes back here, and these are kind of just stuck out here on the top, and there's like just real wide. So I'm gonna go ahead and put some bar oil in here. Holds a fair amount of oil, so I'm actually happy about that, because what I like to see is if you've got a battery saw, that your batteries or your oil in your tank should last as long as your batteries will run the saw. So that way when you have to charge your batteries, you put oil in the saw. So when you go to hit the trigger, it goes to full speed and has almost zero movement, almost zero jump. I don't know how they're doing that, but that's pretty cool. I do like the fact that the chain guard that comes with it covers your bucking spikes also. So we are down here at a nice sized cherry log. Let's try out this Milwaukee saw, see how it does, see if we can get this whole log sawn up and get it hauled down to the house, hopefully on one set of batteries, and hopefully without overheating. It's not hot today, it's only about 60 degrees. Some previous videos, or some videos I've got coming, you'll see I've had some issues in the summertime with battery chainsaws overheating, and so I've got a video that's about to publish, probably will publish actually before this one, so if you haven't seen it, go back and check that out. Like I say, it was from the summertime, and it was 95 degrees out, and you start to see the shortcomings of battery saws really fast. So I'm optimistic about this Milwaukee and their technology with the batteries having vents and stuff in there, that maybe they're onto something here. Maybe they're solving this issue. I've got this thing set. There's a little indicator light right here that I'm assuming that this is high and low, because when you push the button it goes to the light on the bottom side, and when you push it again it goes to the whole thing lit up. Maybe I should read the directions and tell what that is, but I'm going to set it to the high side, or the opposite of what I've been using, and we'll see how it does with that. Well, I gotta say, the chain from the factory is quite sharp. We're getting some nice sized wood chips out of it. It runs nice and fast, and it has all kinds of power. I was expecting a lot out of it as far as the power and stuff goes, because it's supposed to be equivalent to a 70cc saw, and it's not disappointing in the power department. So I'm gonna really push it on this cut. I know I'm getting shadows and stuff here, but it's a time of the evening I really can't get out of having shadows right now. But I'm gonna really put some pressure on the spikes and dig into that and see if I can stall this saw out. It is very difficult to stall this saw. I'm gonna do it again. I'm really gonna just bear into it. Okay, so I was putting a lot of pressure on it. You could probably hear it slow down. I was able to bog it down and get it pretty slow, but the saw didn't shut off, whereas a lot of them will kind of go into an overload and, you know, will cause it to shut the saw off until you let off the trigger and then pull it again. But it did not do that. It actually just bogged down. It went, you know, kind of dropped down pretty slow. And then whenever I went to get another bite, it just sped right back up. And I dug into it again and just, it takes a lot of pressure, more than what you should ever be putting on a chainsaw. The chain and the weight of the saw should be doing most of the work. So I'm gonna go ahead and keep cutting though, because if I stop now and load my bucket up and take loads of firewood down, it's gonna give the saw a rest. So I don't wanna do that. I wanna see if I can cut this entire log up and make all these cuts without the battery overheating, and just keep cutting until we're done, and then I'll pick up all the pieces. Well, the saw just shut off. Now, is this a temperature thing or is it a battery thing? I will say the battery is cool as can be. There's no heat in the battery whatsoever. So it looks like the state of charge is what is gone on with the battery. It is not temperature related. So this one shows that it's down too. Just one red bar. And this one shows one red bar flashing. I would say that that is 100% just the battery's dead, because like I say, there is no heat in that battery whatsoever. Like it, well, maybe right there, just a little bit of warm right there at the connections. I am thoroughly impressed with that. Where the batteries connect, there's no heat. The motor, yep, the motor's warm. It doesn't feel like that it would be like overly hot, causing the saw to shut off. I am really impressed with that right there, because that is amazing that those batteries are that cool. So I'm going to try to see if I've only got 5 or 6 cuts left there. So from the looks of it, that you can run this saw with a full battery to dead without it overheating, at least on a 60-degree day. The real test is going to be, you know, whenever it gets hot out and we get upwards of 95 degrees or so, and, you know, we'll see whether the batteries and stuff will stay cool. Based on what I'm seeing right here, I don't think this saw is going to have the same problems that some of the other saws have with the batteries staying cool. At least not with the forged batteries anyways. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and I cut off the end, so that's 17 cuts on this large log. So what I am going to do, I'm going to start picking this wood up, making trips down to the house and hauling it down there. I did put the batteries on the charger, So it's been about 20 minutes and I just came back from the house because I'm down to the part where I left off cutting, showing 2 bars on the battery. Hopefully we can finish out this tree without having to revert to the gas chainsaw, but I did bring it just in case. I do like the fact that this does have a variable speed trigger on it. So this is the slowest it'll go. But you can see it is variable. So we are back down to a red blinking light, but I did get it finished. Only red blinking on 1 battery though. But again, I don't know if that's actually an overheat or the battery is just dead completely and it's flashing. I'll check in the manual to let you all know about that because, like I say, these batteries aren't getting hot, at least not to the touch and not on the outside of the case. So for it to be overheating would be really surprising. So like I say, I'll check the manual and let you know on that. I will have to say I'm happy that I didn't have to start up the gas chainsaw and I was able to complete this little job with this saw. Here is our Stihl MS500i, and this saw weighs 19 pounds, 9.1 ounces. This is an Echo CS7310. We're looking about 22 pounds, 22 and a half pounds with this one. Now this saw has a 28-inch bar on it, so this is going to be heavy compared to either of those because of that bar. But now the Stihl has a 25-inch bar, so I know this isn't a 100% fair comparison, but this Milwaukee with a 20-inch bar comes in at 20 pounds, 2.6 ounces. So the Milwaukee with a 20-inch bar is heavier than an 80cc gas chainsaw with a 25-inch bar. So the reason I'm pointing it out like this is because a lot of times people think that, you know, when you're getting a battery chainsaw, you're getting a lightweight, easy to handle saw. But that's not necessarily the case at all because those batteries and electric motors are really heavy. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and give you my final thoughts. So after using this saw for a little while and, you know, just my first impressions of it, I've only sawn up that 1 log, but I did use it enough to know, you know, or get a good feel of the balance, the speed of the saw, the power, all that kind of stuff, and how long the batteries last, and a little idea into whether we're going to have an overheating issue with this saw. I don't really think that this saw is going to have as much problem as some of the others with overheating. I think that that's what they're doing with this new lithium forged battery, is trying to overcome the heat problems that other battery saws are plagued with. So only time will tell on that though, because I need to run it in hot weather where I've ran other saws or other battery saws in hot weather to be able to give it a fair evaluation on that. It cuts at a good speed. I would like to see just a little bit more aggressive chain on it. This chain is good, don't get me wrong, like it's actually a pretty decent chain. It is a 0.325 pitch, 50 thousandths, 20 inch. So I mean, it's not a baby chain, but also for a 70cc saw, my Echo CS590 has a, the teeth just seem like that they're a little bit bigger on it and a little more aggressive. So overall on this saw, I really, really like it. I say that about a lot of battery saws because the battery saws, they are kind of like the new innovation of things coming, and they just keep getting better and better. I think that they may have a win right here with this, but it does come at a cost. So sorry I got long-winded on this, but I just think that this is a significant saw to really spend some time talking about. Again, stay tuned because we're going to put this thing to work. We're going to work it in the hot weather. That is coming up. We're getting really close to some 80-degree days. And, you know, as soon as we start getting into those higher temperatures, of course, we're going to work it and we're going to compare it to some other saws in higher temperatures. And hopefully we can kind of come out with who's the winner out of these big displacement equivalents battery chainsaws. So thanks for watching the video today. If you know anybody looking for battery chainsaws, share this video with them. I do have other videos too of a bunch of other chainsaws, battery saws, that I've been testing, you know, over the past several years. So go back and check some of those videos out. And until next time, I'll see you outdoors.